What's going on, Consciouztv, your favorite breakdown commentator, CTV? Welcome to another riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform. You already know what we're here to get into. Before we do so, please go ahead and run the lights all the way up. You guys know that thumbing up the video not only helps with YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers up YouTube's notification system. So when you are thumbing up the video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another Conscious crew member and telling them to get their black asses inside of the sanctuary. So whether you're part of the replay gang, acting for me in real time, or you are an old nasty piece of bush, baby, please hit that I'm sorry, I just got a text. Hit that, what are you talking about, likes? Hit that like feature. If you enjoy everything the Kane does here as well, you can always contribute and donate to the platform through $Consciouztv on Cash App and or PayPal.me/Consciouztv. And of course, that's Conscious spelled with the Z on the end, just like it is here on the channel. All donation information and social media handles are in the description box below. Also, make sure that you have your notifications set to all. And last but not least, please share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be your YouTube community wall, your Snapchat, your MySpace, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you lay the link. Just let them whores know the real out live and in color. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, what is going on, Conscious crew? I hope you guys are having a wonderful Monday. I don't have a long time, but I wanted to come and talk to you guys. You guys know that we're going live at 7 p.m. tonight. I'm bringing back Chasing Reality Atlanta's Tramel, aka my baby father. We're going to be dropping the link. We're going to be responding to some of the comments after his interview. We're going to be talking about the rest of his journey and experience of season 7 of Chasing Realities Atlanta, and talk about his music, etc. So please be in the building for that. It's going to be very interactive. There are still so many conversations around transphobia, misogyny, anti-Blackness, racism that is still being birthed out of his season of Chasing Reality. For those of you who don't know, that's a web reality series, a very popular one. So we'll be loud, live, and in color. The King will be visual and glammed up as always. So I want you guys to be there. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and drop the link to that show while we're here, so you guys can set your reminders. And please thumbs up this video, because we need all of the things. Oh, hold on. I was going to send y'all the wrong link at that. My God, today. Okay. Here is that link. You guys can just go ahead and set your reminder, etc. Okay. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what's going on. You guys know that the matriarch of my family, aka my grandmother, she passed literally on Mother's Day. She passed the morning of Mother's Day. Her funeral is coming up, and her wake is today. And we're going to be having like a lot of family who are going to be flying in, because my family is spread all over the United States, etc. And, you know, all of the regular day players are going to be in the building, and we're going to be talking about what dilemma that poses for me. But before we get there, I want to talk about, how Black families, particularly minority families in general, seem to really struggle when it comes to responding to trauma. And part of the reason is because they oftentimes don't even know what it exactly looks like. They don't even know how to actually observe, discern, and even identify trauma, to identify behavior that's a result of trauma. And so oftentimes trauma goes underswept, it goes unaccounted for, it goes untreated, and it gets kind of shoved into the general regular smegula goings-ons and dramas of people's lives, when trauma is a very unique type of scarring on the mind. It's a very unique type of scarring on the heart. And it requires a particular response. It requires a particular love. It requires a particular type of attention. And minimizing that trauma only risk further injury so deep that it can result in fatalities. Whether it's a person committing a fatality upon themselves, whether it's a person committing fatalities against other people, it can just bring about severe violence, whether that's emotional violence, spiritual violence, physical violence. It just is a very high risk situation when you have traumatized people who are not getting the aid and not getting the support that they need, right? And I particularly come from a family where lots of people's trauma has been swept under the rug. Lots of people's trauma has gone unavenged. It's gone untreated. I come from the type of family unit that's very atypical to most Black families, where when it comes to the heavy shit, we find a box, we put that shit in there, we lock it closed, and we shove it in the closet, we shove it under the bed, and we throw it into the depths and the deep of the ocean, Okay, never to be seen and dealt with again. And then fast forward when people are struggling interpersonally or struggling within their ability to be consistent or successful or focused or are suffering from depression, even when everything is okay, or etc. Then we begin to see that, oh, you never really shoved that trauma down because you cannot shove or deny trauma no matter how much force you attempt to, how much force of denial and rejection of your experience of the situation. You cannot shove it away. It only oozes and bleeds all out and through like a voluminous amount of ketchup on a hot dog. That first bite, baby, that ketchup is going to be oozing out and splattering all through and over the goddamn sides. Okay. So trauma is something that you literally have to deal with, and not dealing with it and not knowing how to be in relationship or know how to be at least in conversation with someone who has trauma can be very dangerous. And so one thing that our community, as a minority community, as a Black community, needs to do is we need to become very deeply educated on psychology. We need to have a mix of spirituality and therapy when it comes to our antidotes and the resources we offer to people in terms of advice. It's not just about going to church. It's not just about Jesus. It's not just about all of that, because Jesus also acknowledged doctors. Jesus also acknowledged politicians. Jesus also acknowledged medical providers in the scriptures. So Jesus was not so heavenly minded that he could be of no earthly good and didn't understand more easily accessible forms of healthiness, of treatment, such as a medical doctor, a medical physician, someone who is trained in the psychologies. And so we need to really rev up our conversations as melanated folk around therapy, and all families need to do their fair share of taking some type of a course in trauma treatment, etc. Because oftentimes, as a result of being minority people, we're already going through so much trauma societally and socially and politically, and then also dealing with the intergenerational transference of the trauma that's a pathology in our own family lineage and all of our families' unhealthy practices and erroneous practices as it relates to navigating life and lived experience. And then on top of dealing with our own personal injuries. So even if we never even end up traumatized ourselves, the likelihood of being in a relationship to another melanated person who is extremely high, because we are minority people. So we all can do better to be educated on trauma, even if you don't have any of your own personally, because more than likely 1 out of every 3 other Black ass people that you're going to end up marrying or end up dating or end up, you know, in friendship with, or end up in business with, or end up in whatever with, are going to have some form and type of trauma. Now, with that being said, the reason why I'm saying all this is because I have accepted, even though I am well and I am okay and I'm fine about what happened to me. And those of you who've been following my story knows what happened to me, that kind of, you know, that resulted in me going no contact with my family. I have accepted that what happened to me was traumatizing, aka being left for dead while a relative basically did nothing for me, while knowing that I was actually dying in real time. And then my family not regulating that situation and not having any healthy confrontation with that individual who left me to die. It was only by the grace of God that I was given the strength and grace to advocate for myself. If not, I would have died, and it would have been a preventable death because my relative who was present at the time that I was dying had all of the resources to have intervened and saved my life, even if I would not have been able to, and yet did nothing. So I'm literally only here as always because of the greatness and goodness and the power of God, who is obviously with me and continues to show me that I am not in this world alone, and that I am not here without advocacy. I am not here without love. I am not here without that, even if humans fail to live up to those metrics, right? So going through this experience obviously was very painful because I could not rationalize and understand the psychology of the individual that left me for dead. And to make matters worse, I couldn't understand how my family, because I come from a very big family, we're all tight, we're all close, etc., also was not outraged enough to have a healthy confrontation with that person. And then the matriarch in my family, who is my grandmother who passed away, she had the authority to remove this person from the setting that I was in and did not. And because the situation was so grave that she was in and that my grandfather was in, I chose to set aside all my own trauma and all the abandonment that I felt in that moment to be faithful to my grandparents, because I know that they really needed me despite me feeling utterly betrayed. But what I did do is I made a promise to myself that once my grandfather passed away, once he transitioned, that I was out of there. I was good. I was gone from the family. And my grandfather didn't pass away for another 2-3 years. And once he did, I went to his burial. I didn't go to the funeral, and I hid it. And I haven't seen my family physically since then. And that was almost 10 years ago. Fast forward, the only people that I stayed in communication with basically was like my siblings, my cousins, but the elders practically, I moonwalked and I kept that distance. Over the time of me going no contact, I needed time to process my experience. I needed time to process what exactly it meant, how to rectify this, how to reconcile this unto myself, how to reconcile the fact that I believe that my family loves me, but yet abandoned me at a time where I deeply needed their advocacy and I needed them to stand on principle and be righteous, etc. Choosing to continue to be thoughtful of them and stay in that situation as a caregiver for my grandfather because they needed me, while sitting aside something as traumatic as being abandoned by a relative who left me for dead, and then having to live in an environment for 3 more years with someone that left me for dead because they were in that environment too, probably was the most extreme thing I've ever done, and probably one of the most psychological challenging situations I've ever been in my entire life. And I survived that without hurting anybody, without killing anybody, without beating anybody. I did it with grace and virtue. I'm proud to have been in a situation where I can see that under immense pressure, even under immense emotional heartbreak and duress, that I still was able to show up fully and maturely. But I did keep my word to myself, and I bounced. Yesterday, I ended up in a conversation with a relative, and this relative was talking to me about all the people in our family that they don't fuck with at this point. And then the conversation around, my no contact with the majority of our family also came up. And my relative decided to basically sell me on this idea that because these people are family, that it's okay to be upset with them. It's even okay to temporarily not fuck with them, but that because they're a family and because we share DNA, that we should absolutely be in a relationship to one another. And I should always strive in myself to somehow return and to come back home. I should find it in myself to, somehow always create some type of a space for these people to be in my life. And I was telling this relative that to some degree, I can receive that and I understand that. And that is the case because it's not like the people in my life right now are perfect. It's not like the people that I have in my life, both family and non-family, are perfect. There's been breakdowns, breakups, and makeups, and all of those things. So I too am of the understanding that when it comes to certain types of hurt, you can navigate that. Like relationships can recover if the hurt and the offense is more on a misdemeanor scale. If the offense is in the felony level, those things may not be things that can still result in the repairing of a relationship, even though it still may be a forgivable offense. But this was not enough for my relative. My relative wanted me, despite the felony offense of being abandoned in a life or death situation by a relative, and then having nobody, come under righteous confrontation of this individual and think about my safety and my psychological well-being, because other people didn't want to be the bad guy by standing on business. Other people didn't want to be the bad guy by asserting what was right and wrong and holding somebody accountable. So everybody cowered down so that they didn't have to be the bad guy in that person's story, even though they was defaulting to being the bad guy in my story as a result of not standing on business. So I was telling this relative, like, this is where I personally have to draw the line. I am not willing to unsee what I have seen and what I have experienced. And I'm not willing to continue to make relational space and provide relational opportunity and experience for people who discarded me in the most extreme of circumstances, because it does not get more extreme than a life or death situation. Because we're not talking about, right, me not dealing with people because we just had a petty argument, or or it's over a loan or money or whatever, or them just being aggravating and annoying. We're not talking about none of that bullshit. We're talking about a life or death situation where there was no emotional safety guards in the family and there was not a unified front in terms of my community, aka my family, standing on business for me, and all that shit they talked to and talked about that person to me with was not the same shit they spoke directly to that person with. This person still benefited from the community, which was fine. This person was still allowed to come around, which was fine. This person was still allowed to sit at a Christmas and Thanksgiving table. That's cool, because let me tell you how mature I am. I'm so mature that I didn't even want my people to even break up with this relative, even under the extremity of my situation. What I wanted was, for at the very least, if y'all have something to say to me about how this person treated me, then y'all need to go say that to that motherfucker. Because this would be one of those situations that absolutely causes for a call to action. Secondly, I wanted the matriarch in my family who controlled the household that my grandfather was being cared for in to, at the very least, just put the motherfucker out. I didn't give a fuck if she still wanted to be in relationship to him. I didn't give a fuck if she still wanted to be a grandmother to him. I didn't care. That's all cool. Because when it comes to family, I know that family is going to try to hold on to family by any means necessary. Even the most fucked up of family going to try to hold on to in some way, shape, or form, especially a grandmother. So I wasn't even bothered by her even being in relationship to him. I just don't know why the fuck you think it's going to be conducive for me to be in a house 3 days out of the week with someone who watched me die and took no preventive or intercessive measures to protect me. But yet you need me. To take care of my grandfather, aka your husband, and you don't have any options because you can't take care of him yourself. I'm actually necessary in the space. This person is a grifter and a freeloader in the space. I'm a fixed and needed object in this scenario, and I've been violated in the most extreme and outlandish, preposterous of ways. So I don't think it was some type of an unrealistic expectation, given that she also had her fair share to say about the situation, but yet took none of the objective authority she had to do anything meaningful on my behalf with in a situation where she needed me, not the other way around. Stop putting Bible verses in my chat. Do I have any moderators here? Please, time out. Thanks God, it's over. Send them on up out of here. They need to be in Jerusalem or Bethlehem or the Middle East, somewhere evangelizing. Go put all of that in Trump's chat. Go put all of that in MAGA's chat. Go put all of that in some politician's chat. Okay? Go talk all that God shit and revelatory shit in the chat of the people who are actually making your actual life a living hell. Hold on, y'all. Let me see if I can send this person on down the Nile River. Oh, thank you so much, Sin. We needed that. So, back to what I was saying. So, despite nothing meaningful being done for me, in a situation where my services, my virtue is being offered, damn near free of charge at that, I set all that aside. And then over the 10 years that I went in contact with the majority of my family, I had to take time to heal. I had to take time to process. I had to take time to rectify, to reconcile. And what I came up with after I went through all of the motions is I love my family. I know they love me. I know they felt me in the most extreme times in which I needed them, not because of a lack of love, but because of a lack of inability, a lack of not knowing what to do in an extreme situation like that. People choosing their own egos, people choosing to self-preserve, because nobody really wants to be the person to get in the middle of some shit and to temporarily occupy the perception of being the bad guy. But this is literally what villages used to be. When we talk about our parents and their parents era, we talk about a type of community where all the other adults in the community almost were surrogate and alternative parents to your children, that you could rely on your village to hold your children accountable, to keep them safe if you were not around, to hold them accountable for their behavior if they were outside of your view. We're talking about community. The most beneficial and powerful aspect of community is the investment we have in each other, the intent we have to keep each other safe, to keep each other good, to protect each other, to make sure that each other have the necessary resources, to pick up the slack, to pick up the lack. This is what was, these are the most notable aspects and kind of the variables of what it means to be in community. If you have community that talk a good game, but them motherfuckers don't really step, they're not really stepping, and they're not willing to show up in the greatest advocacy, in the greatest moments of despair, then really, what do we have here, right? So what I came up with after I went no contact and had to unpack my situation and repackage it up is, I love them. I know they love me, but I've been violated in a very over-the-top and extreme way. And as a result of not being able to unsee that and being honest with myself about not being able to unsee that, what I'm going to do, because I do feel like it's an isolated situation, but it's an extreme isolated situation. It's unfortunate that it's an extreme isolated situation, because before that, I never had a traumatic experience with my family. Other people have been traumatized in this family. Most of my uncles and aunts are traumatized. Lots of my cousins have trauma. My grandparents have trauma. Their parents have trauma. So it is an intergenerational transference of a situation. But up to that moment, I had a really fluid, communal relationship to my family. And they definitely, showed up for me, and I showed up for them. And, those transactions were always fair and reciprocal. But when the going really got fucking rough, they were handicapped. And when I started thinking about how I'm only one amongst many now, now I have my own traumatized experience, and I know that they're not doing this intentionally, but this is just what becomes of the condition that they're in. And I'm just one amongst many, who now have a traumatic experience that nobody's going to apologize for, that nobody's going to really acknowledge in any meaningful way, and that nobody is going to take any meaningful action toward. I'm just one of many now. So, it's definitely not personal. It's definitely not personal. I'm definitely not the lone wolf in this situation. So I said, you know what? Okay, I'm done with the relationship part of them. I don't want to be in a relationship. These are not people that I want to sit around with. These are not people that I want to celebrate with. These are not people that I want to have intimate ties to. However, because I do love them, and I know they love me, and they are my family, and I like the idea of family and community, if I'm ever needed, I will show up in a capacity that's reasonable for me. But I'm not going to be around for nothing else. Outside of a need, I don't want to see you. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to engage with you. I don't want it. If anything happens that requires necessity, sure, because I've recovered now. And that's the space that I have. All right. So I'm in conversation with this relative, and they just don't really see it for that attitude. They don't see it for that attitude. They didn't see it for me choosing not to be in a relationship at all. And mostly because they just don't have the maturity to really understand that. And they themselves are still in the practice of doing exactly what I was not interested in doing, which was maintaining relationship to these raggedy, broken ass people and being on again, off again, 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 when you can just be off and go on about your life. Yes, in every type of relationship, there are going to be moments. Moments are going to be had. But Those moments shouldn't be every 48 hours. Those moments shouldn't be every goddamn week. Yes, all relationships are going to have a moment. But if you're having them type of moments and people are doing the most to each other all the time, and there's a frequency of doing the most to each other, baby, that's something that everybody involved need to walk away from. Now, this relative is in the business of all that back and forth. I'm not. And I don't give a fuck to be. And I don't give a damn if people feel as though I am the bad guy because I don't want to remain consistently in toxic relationships that are never going to be better than what the fuck they are. And I don't give a damn how much history I have with them. I don't give a damn how much DNA we share together. I don't give a damn how close we might have been all the way up to the point of annihilation. None of that is going to matter to me. And there are certain things that I have just chosen to not allow a motherfucking person to get away with doing to me. And I don't give a damn what their title is. I don't give a damn whether they're a parent. I don't give a damn whether they're a grandparent. I don't give a damn whether they are a sibling, a cousin, a auntie, a bestie, a spouse. I don't give a damn if it's the president of the United goddamn States. I will wage war and I will file those motherfucking divorce papers. Because who the fuck you feeling like? Who the fuck you think you up in this bitch playing with? I come bearing too many gifts. I come bearing too much Shekinah glory to be played with and to be devalued and to be dishonored and to be discarded. Who the fuck you think you is? Because it ain't never been no situation where I needed a motherfucker more than a motherfucker needed me. I'm not even the chair in the majority of situations. I'm the motherfucking table. So who the fuck y'all think y'all playing with? Bitch, I can definitely go and provide all these wonderful divine services and talents and gifts to another deserving, qualified motherfucker who know what to do with a bitch like me. Bitch, I ain't so desperate and I ain't so in ignorance of myself that I don't know my motherfucking worth. I'm humbled enough to know that everybody that I'm dealing with, bitch, is probably fucked up on one level or another. Cool. I'll do my ratio on that. 60-40, 70-30, whatever it is. But who the fuck up in this bitch think that I owe them the totality of who I am and who God created me to be while feeling entitled to discard and dispose of me for any reason, under any circumstances, on the whim of a dime? You have absolutely got me fucked up. And if you think that I don't know how to show up in a motherfucking room with people I've been in a room with for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, bitch, and see right through and past them as if I never knew thee, depart from me, that's the next dilemma that we have now that I'm there. Because, baby, I'll take a lot of shit, but I'm not going to take every motherfucking thing. I'll make space and provide grace to a lot of shit. I'll let a lot of shit rock. I'll transcend a lot of shit. But who the fuck you think you playing with, bitch, thinking that I'm going to endure and absorb every fucked up thing that can possibly happen to one motherfucker in a relationship at the hands of another motherfucker? How in your rabbit ass mind do you even conceive that I benefit from such a dynamic? That I benefit from such a motherfucking ratio? What exactly would be the value and the benefit? Where? So, me and that person had to kindly get off the motherfucking phone and you can have you a nice day. Because what part of the fact that you're talking to someone who would not have been here today if it wasn't for the motherfucker you sitting up in the house with, that would have played into the reasons why in 2026 you may not have been speaking to me. Now, because I'm the one in the situation, obviously what I've been through and what happened to me ain't gonna mean more to nobody more than it means to me. I understand that. It's my personal experience, it's my anecdotal experience, and it's not gonna mean more to another motherfucker than it is going to mean to me. But then, you know what, sometimes I have to question that too, because when you really have genuine capacity for true empathy, you able to relate fully to a motherfucker. How you relate to another motherfucker is completely contingent upon your capacity for empathy. If you a dense motherfucker with a bunch of defense mechanisms who is in nothing but a pure survival mode, no, you may not have the fucking heart capacity, bitch, to, understand the gravity of a motherfucking situation and all of its psychological and spiritual and emotional and mental, effects. But I know that I have not been in other people's shoes and I have been able to equally grieve with them. I have not had the experiences of other people and have been equally as outraged as they are, equally responded to a call for justice as them. I did not need it to be my personal experience. I did not need it to be something that happened to me personally, because my empathy provided all the space and grace to relate and to enter and understand what that person's inner and soul experience was. So what's going to happen is I'm never going to talk to another motherfucker in my biological family about anything that is traumatic. I'm not interested in another conversation. I'm not interested in talking with some of those people about anything that they do not have the intellectual and emotional capacity to understand. Because when this relative was on the phone talking about why they don't fuck with so and so and so and so and so and so, I wasn't egging them on to be in relationship. I respect the motherfucking G code. Whoever you don't want to fuck with is your right to not fuck with if you believe that you got good reason to not fuck with their motherfucking ass. And the reason they not fucking with certain relatives of ours is for far less reasons than the reason why I'm not fucking with some of our relatives. And you can't understand that, but you can understand your own disdain. You can understand your own separation from certain people. You can understand your own right to choose who the fuck and who the fuck you will not entertain. But my situation is more severe than all them situations you got going on with all them motherfuckers combined, and you don't even have the capacity to conceive of why I'm absolutely not going to be in relationship to certain folk. Don't hate them. Ain't holding no grudges, but bitch, I'm absolutely protecting my motherfucking peace. And me not dealing with them is not because I'm holding a grudge. It's because I know better. And when you know better, you do what, class? You do the fuck better. So they were trying to gaslight me, trying to conflate me not wanting to be in relationship with them motherfuckers with me holding a grudge. No, motherfucker. Ain't no grudge. I ain't got nothing but love for our people. I'm not even completely making a blanketed judgment across them, which is why I'm still leaving room to show up if I'm needed. But because they show their asses and they've continued to demonstrate that they are a danger not only unto themselves, but unto everybody else, because over the 10 years that I have not been in contact with them, the relatives I have been in contact with have been giving me all the 411. And nothing has changed, not for them and not for anybody else. So I, in fact, did make the most wonderful decision for myself and do not regret it. And I don't give a damn who dies or who lives eternally. There's going to be no regret. and my choice to have chosen me and to have done what the fuck was best for me, because I am super clear that what I won't do for me, no one will. Now, with that, hold on, y'all. I'm trying to. All right. Now, with that, fast forward. Can y'all still hear me, y'all? Because I got air blowing on me. Can y'all hear the audio just fine? Give me a 1 if y'all can hear the audio just fine. Because I'm sitting in front of wind. Give me a 1 if you can hear me just fine. If you can hear the audio clear. I need a 1. I need a 1. I need a... Okay. All right, great. Okay, so let's move into my next dilemma, because this is going to set the alley-oop up. So my grandma's funeral is approaching. Y'all know I've been no contact with the bulk of my family. Obviously, because there's a funeral, there's going to be a group gathering. And I'm going to, if I choose to go to the funeral, I'm going to be in a social situation with people that I do not speak to and people that I'm still not interested in speaking to. And one of the things that is holding me up, because I was asked to speak, my grandma requested that I speak. That was obviously all before I went no contact. Is I'm 40 years old. Therefore, I'm too old to pretend. I don't act anymore. I'm not an actor. I'm not an actress. I'm not going to pretend. So what it would look like with me being in a social situation with people who I don't talk to is people are going to be thinking that this is an opportunity to talk to me and to kiss on me and to hug on me and to love on me. And that is absolutely what I am completely disinterested in. And because I know this is going to be taken as an opportunity to socialize with me, if I'm going to stick to my no contact clause, that means that when they try to love on me, I'm going to have to be a bitch and shut it down. I'm going to have to put hand to motherfucking face and require and request 50 motherfucking feet. I'm going to have to turn the other way when a motherfucker sits in my face and attempts to say anything to me. And I'm prepared to be the cold, stoic, emotionally unavailable scorpion bitch that I am. Because I'm the kind of person who prefers to keep that same energy. If you know that we don't deal from afar, bitch, I need you to understand that also comes with not dealing up close. I need you to maintain continuity here because I'm a continuity person. I maintain continuity. If I ain't fucking with you afar, bitch, I'm not fucking with you up close. But because this is a funeral, it's already going to be enough sad shit happening. It's already going to be, a very sensitive time and everybody's going to be in their feelings, etc. Do I want to have to be that person? No, I don't want to have to be the bitch. I don't want to have to be rude and off-putting just to maintain my personal boundaries. But I'm going to be in a social situation if I choose to go to the funeral with people who don't respect boundaries. Because nobody ever respects my boundaries. Nobody. I just had an experience recently with somebody choosing to not respect my boundaries just to give someone else what they wanted. So my personal boundaries are never a thing. Never. It's never a thing. Ever, 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 ever. Never. But everybody always feel like they can conveniently swing in and out and conveniently and pick and choose what and how they be toward me while I'm sitting here maintaining all of the things for them. So now I'm like, well, you know what? I can choose not to go to the funeral because if I don't put myself in that situation, then I can't be I don't have to be a bitch in a situation where I don't prefer to be a bitch. But I also am not interested in performing either. I don't feel like doing the fake I love yous, the fake hey how you doing, the fake I'm so sorry. I don't want to be hugging on who I don't want to hug on. I don't want to shake the hands of who I don't want to shake the hands of. I don't want to have forced engagement. I am too fucking old to fucking pretend. So now I'm just like, oh my God, like if I go, I'm going to have to be a bitch because I know that they're going to take it as an opportunity to be all over me, which I don't want. I would rather the same person who you couldn't get on the phone over 10 years, the same person who wouldn't respond to your text messages over 10 years, the same person who would not come to the door over 10 years, the same person who has not come to a family gathering in over 10 years would be the same motherfucker that you act like is not available now that I'm here physically, because I'm not here for you. I'm here for me. Respect my boundaries, because if the shoe was on the other motherfucking foot and a bitch wouldn't fucking with me from afar, I damn sure would also be respecting that up close. If you've been paying me from afar, I'm going to assume you're going to pay me up close. So bitch, I'm going to move around. If I have seen that you have not been speaking with me and you have told me you're not interested in speaking with me, then I'm not going to treat it like, oh, just because we are in now a shared physical space, that all of that goes out of the window. But my people are real ballsy and real entitled. They don't give a fuck about you. They care more about themselves, which is why they're going to disrespect your boundaries. And then because I'm who the fuck I am, I'm going to have to show you what the fuck that look like. Because who the fuck you think you altering and editing over here? Which brings me to my next point. I don't want to pretend no more, period. I don't want to pretend. I am not going to pretend. I don't want to pretend. I cannot do it any fucking more. From this point forward, I'm going to use the appropriate language to describe the situations as I experience them. Not as I want them to be, not as I hope them to be. I am going to have the appropriate responses to the way shit is versus the way shit is being said to be. And I'm going to choose going forward to react, respond, and be in other people's reality according to who and what that reality actually is. And then when they don't like what that looks like, and they don't like what that sounds like, and they don't like how that emotes like, I'm going to remind them, right, that this is your shit. A petty prime example of that is I got people who have texted me, right? And they need me to engage. They need me, to say something back. But some of these people are people who can leave me on red. And they get back to me when they feel like it, and sometimes, if at all. So you know what I'm going to do? This shoes not to acknowledge motherfucking attempts to communicate either. And I'm going to be just as fucking flippant too. And I'm just going to be just as unreliable too. And I'm going to pick and choose too, because I don't give a fuck no more. I do not care. I'm going to be who I am, which is not informed by anyone else. But when I'm dealing with anyone else, I'm going to make sure that I'm giving them who they are from me. I'm going to give everybody themselves back. So I hope that everybody's ready. I hope everybody's ready, baby, to get themselves. I hope everybody's ready for the mirror. Because the more that I accommodate and the more that I, outstretch myself, the more that I go over and beyond, it's only going one way. It's only going one way. And I've been hoodwinked and I've been bamboozled because I've been doing things the way I've been doing things based upon it being said to be mutual, but I'm always on that island by myself, actually showing up the way that is being communicated to me that it is. But in action, it never ends up actually being that way. So now I'm about to go full fucking circle. And I dare a motherfucker to have an issue with me. Because when they do, I'm going to remind them, bitch, that who they are experiencing is themselves in me. And that goes for family, that goes for the world, that goes for community, that goes for friends, that goes for whomever the fuck people think they are. Because I am not pretending any fucking more. I'm not doing it. I'm too fucking old. And I'm going to tell you the kind of Scorpio bitch I am too. I'm an all or nothing type of a nigga. I don't do nothing in between. All I know how to do is do nothing or do the most. But I don't know how to do a little bit. I don't know how to do some a bit. I don't have no middle range, bitch. It either is or it is not. So I cannot accept breadcrumbing. I would rather nothing, because I'm cool on nothing. You know, the reality is, bitch, and I don't give a fuck about how much of a flex, how arrogant it sounds. The reality is that, bitch, like, I don't benefit from other people any fucking way. I don't benefit. People benefit from me. That's why I get to have a standard that I have. And for a long time, I was cool with being everybody else's stability and being everybody else's safe place and being everybody else's hero and being everybody else's fucking savior and being everybody else's friend and being everybody else's confidant and being everybody else's favorite grandchild and favorite cousin and favorite nephew. And I was okay with being all that to people, and then people feeling like they can give me what the fuck they want in return while also verbally claiming that, you know, this shit go both ways, when in actuality it don't. So now I ain't being that. I'm not that for who's not that for me. And I'm going to make sure that that's demonstrated in my posture and demonstrated in my behavior. And I'm not faking the funk for nobody. So if people don't want to get their feelings motherfucking hurt in this season, bitch, you better not hurt mine. If a motherfucker don't want to really know how fucking narcissistic and selfish they are, bitch, you better not be narcissistic and selfish when it comes to me, because you're going to get yours. If a motherfucker don't want no raggedy ass behavior on my part, bitch, they better be ready to tighten on up and pull themselves together, bitch. Because I'm going to be just as motherfucking raggedy as any other raggedy motherfucker is. I'm going to mirror back all motherfucking behavior. All of it. And I dare a conversation be resurrected and had about my behavior so that I can remind you of what yours is. So I can run back the receipts of what you look like to me and how you be to me. So that you can see the correlation between your behavior and mine, bitch. They're one and the same. We're not even two sides of the same coin anymore. We're the same coin on the same side. I'm not carrying a persona, and I'm not going to avoid hurting people's fucking egos. I have no interest in upholding other people's egos. I have no interest in making other people safer in my space than I can be in theirs. I do not want in between family. I don't want in between communities. If you ain't fucking with me, leave me the fuck alone. But you know, that would be all too much like right? I'm too good at who I am. And I'm too good at being good to people for people to leave me the fuck alone. So people can't leave me the fuck alone because they love the way that I treat people. But at the same time, they want to be able to benefit from that while not also reciprocating that and not doing right by me. All that is done away with. I am 40 now, and I can see that there is no future in these things. There is no future in me doing what I have been doing. And it has for a long time been a long time since I have done it that way. But I'm going to continue to get better at doing it this way. Because now I see why they're having all the fun. Because it is so much easier to not give a fuck. It's so much easier not to have to respect other people's boundaries and to insist upon your way. It is so much easier to just do what you want to do and do what you're going to do any motherfucking way and make people motherfucking deal with it and expect them to forgive it, forget it, and still be accessible. It's so much easier to not have to be socially aware and consciously aware. It's so much easier to be a raggedy ass bitch. That's why we have so many raggedy ass motherfucking bitches in the form of friends, family, relatives, and communities. It's so much easier to be a raggedy ass motherfucker. I texted one of my longtime friends the other night, just emoting. And girl, that was like 2 p.m. in the afternoon. It's now 3 a.m. at that point. No call, no response to the text. I had to send another text like, damn. And then I got a response. And then my response to their response finally was basically, girl, take care of yourself. I'm good. Because I know that had I been a nigga that you fucking on, had I been, anything else, you would have provided the time and the resources. And once again, like, these are people that I've housed, I have provided a home to, that I've given community to. But like every other empath, girl, when you are truly in need, I'm talking about like for real. I'm talking about like the hierarchy of need. And let's be clear, as an empath, my needs only be looking like relationship. I don't need nothing else from nobody. You can't find nobody who has had to give me rides, had to pick me up from motherfucking work, who have had to move me in, or none of that shit. I don't have them type of needs. The most valuable thing that you can give to someone like me who already who's very competent and very independent and very disciplined, all you can give to me is the love. All you can give to me is the friendship. I don't need any fucking thing else. And bet your ass you're going to get more from this relationship any motherfucking way, because I'm going to be able to give you the relationship on top of the resources too, which is why I've always had both to give. And that's why you can't find nobody in my life that I not only have been a spiritual, emotional, mental friend to, without also having been a material friend to. Because I have paid bills, mortgages, rents, Christmases, birthdays, trips, cars, clothes, and hoes. Bitch, I provided it all. I have not just been that family member or not just been that spouse or not just been that friend that only gives materially but don't show up interpersonally, or only shows up interpersonally but don't provide materially, girl. I'm always both-handed in all relationships. So I don't even be needing both hands. As community, as family, as whatever, all you can really do is just really treat a bitch like me right and just provide what is free of charge. Free of charge is your sincerity. Free of charge is your time. Free of charge is your faithfulness. as somebody who was so-called beloved in my family, I shouldn't have been in a situation where I should have even had to ask for regulation. Everybody knew what had happened, saw what had happened, and it should have been completely logical in terms of what the next step was. But people chose their own egos, and that's cool. No hard feelings about it. People made their choices, and I made mine. I'm happy that I survived all that shit with still having my heart intact, still being willing to show up, even if I wasn't willing to be in relationship. But I'm clear about not wanting to be in relationship, and there's going to be more deaths, and I'm fine with people dying who I'm not in relationship with. It doesn't make me feel no sort of kind of way about the choices I had to make for me, because motherfuckers made choices that they felt were best for them, no matter what the impact was on me. And it also doesn't change the motherfucking love. So because I'm going to have to either pretend to navigate this funeral and or I'm going to have to be a bitch in order to be true to myself, because people are going to be trying me in that space, I'm thinking about just going to the burial. I'll just go to the burial, say my 1-2-1-2 to the queen, and then I'll hit it. Just like I did when my grandfather transitioned. I didn't go to his funeral. I went to the burial, and then I motherfucking hit it, bitch. And I was never to be seen again. Poof, be gone. Because people really will play with you, and people will. And here's the mistake that people always make with me. People see how full I am, how full I am of family, how full I am of all the things. You know, I loved people fully and did fully for people who I didn't even fucking know and didn't even have a personal relationship to. Damn near took motherfuckers literally off the streets, for God's sakes. But people always think that because of how I show up, that I don't know how to disappear, that I don't know how to withdraw myself, and I do. And all I'm requiring is for it to be real or not. But there's no in between. I am too old for anything less than what is real at this point. I have not made it this far in my life to deal with anything synthetic. I am going to live the next half of my life with people who have everything to give, so that it's safe for me to give everything that I meant to give, which is everything. I spent the last half of my life, in the last chapter of my life, willing to be in lopsidedness, willing to believe more in people's words than their actions, willing to do more than what people were willing to do for me, willing to get myself in situations that people are not willing to get themselves in for me. I've been willing to do all of that. I've done it. I've been there. I lived it. Cool. I championed that. The next chapter of my life has to be for me. And it has to be with people who are for me. And clearing so many people over the last 10 years of my life allowed there to be space for spirit to bring forth people who really, truly see it for me, who are truly invested in me. So my takeaway for you all is stop holding on to raggedy ass motherfucking niggas and bitches and don't give a fuck about whether they family or not. Don't give a fuck about whether you share blood with them or not. Don't give a fuck about, I don't give a fuck how much history, how much what. If you're not happy, your needs are not being met, and motherfuckers are not showing up for you, and that means a lot for you because you know you're going to show up for them, let it go and create the space in your life for those people to be replaced with better people, or at the very least, for you to have some goddamn peace. If that's all that comes as a result of you clearing it, because your peace is also worth it. Even if you never get a better version of a motherfucker, even if there's not even a better version to give to you because the world is so goddamn raggedy and God ain't making them how she used to make them no more, baby. Okay, the inventory, baby, is lacking these days, baby. The shelves are not full. The quality is not there. Most of this shit is dangerous, poisonous, GMO, and you'll have spiritual cancer, girl, in 10 years when the infomercial is rolling up on the screen saying, bitch, if you met this type of motherfucker and personality type back, in 1995, please give us a call. We can probably get you motherfucking compensated, bitch, for your pain and suffering from putting up with this raggedy motherfucker. So even if there is not a better version of motherfucking people, at the very least, by clearing raggedy motherfuckers from your life, you at the very least will have a true sense of motherfucking mind, and you will be able to maintain your motherfucking mental health. Because I'm going to tell you this, girl, I know for a fact that if I had not cleared it, I would have let motherfuckers make me mentally ill. If you let people continue to not do right by you, be toxic, etc., and you hold on just because you attach or because you so-called love them or whatever the fuck it is that you use as a girl, you will cost yourself your fucking mental health, while that raggedy motherfucker is prepared to always find them a greener pasture. While that same motherfucker is willing, girl, to choose themselves every single motherfucking day, while that motherfucker, baby, has no concern, interest in hearing you and considering you, girl. And you will be over there, girl, shaking the pill bottle, trying to regulate the nervous system that you trusted to give to other people because you thought they loved you the way that you love them. And you can love motherfuckers from over there. You can love motherfuckers afar. You can love and don't you let no raggedy bitch tell you that you got to put up with a motherfucking thing. Don't you let some settling ass, insecure ass motherfucker who's made a lifestyle out of accepting bread fucking crumbs from people that supposedly love them convince you that your standards are too high and that you should also stay in place to be breadcrumbed. And the reason why I would rather choose myself than half of a motherfucking person is because I at least know in me I will show up fully for me. So why the fuck would I allow you to give me less than what the fuck I'm going to give to myself? It's not a bad idea if I'm on my own. It's not a bad idea, bitch, if I've been more than enough for me, you, and you, bitch. What makes you think that I'm not fully well equipped to be a standalone main motherfucking character when that's what the fuck I've been? So what the fuck do I look like having a wagon full of personal motherfucking resources and having to settle in any regard? Are you dumb? Are you stupid? Are you stupid? And see, my people had to fuck around and find out that bitch meant what the fuck he said. Them motherfuckers had to FAFO, girl, and got to see, girl, that I can, I will, and I shall. Because who the fuck you thought you was? So, I'm not going to go to the funeral because I'm not going to pretend. And as a result of not pretending, I'm going to have to hurt motherfuckers' feelings. People's feelings who are already hurt because we're already experiencing a loss. And because I don't feel like being that person, I'm going to keep myself as much out of a social situation with them because I'm still in a place where I don't want no relationship. I'm just indifferent now. I don't have a dislike. I'm just uninterested. That's it. I'm not attracted to it socially. I just don't have it. I don't have nothing to give. And I'm cool with keeping that same energy, but I know other people don't know how to do that. So I'm going to be tried. And I'm too old to pretend. So that's just not going to go well for them. But on a day like this, I don't want to be that person. So I'm not going to go. I'm not a big funeral person any motherfucking way. As it relates to the personal passing of my grandmother, I still feel good about it. My grandmother was almost 100 years old. She literally lived from one end of her life to the other end of her life. She was blessed enough to see three generations of her family be born. Her children, adults, her children have children who became adults, and those grandchildren now have children. I mean, you really could not have asked for more, because she definitely was going to live forever. And despite even her and I's not being in a relationship leading up to this, even though we were on good terms up to this, my grandmother was a badass bitch, and she taught me everything that I know about being communal and really striving to lead from love and righteousness, etc. She definitely didn't taught me how to stand on business, but she taught me what the heart looks like. And that's why she couldn't intercede for me when my cousin left me for dead, because she had fully given her heart to him too. And she didn't want to be a bad guy by telling him that he was wrong. She didn't want to be the bad guy in his story by kicking him out, even if she remained in relationship to him. And I learned what also needs to come from her with leadership, which is not only heart, but also law. Because when you don't stand on principle out of being loyal to people and out of not what so-called one to be involved, not getting involved is very selfish, especially when you occupy a leadership position. Because when you choose loyalty over principle, you deregulate the entire motherfucking system. And that typically be the beginning of the very fucking end. You've got to be a righteous person, and you cannot allow your heart to absolve systems of accountability. Because in love is protection, and you cannot protect that which you choose to be afraid of. You can't be afraid for people to have an attitude. You can't be afraid for people to feel like you're being unfair. It's okay if you feel that way. I'm being righteous. You were wrong, and this is the sensible penalty for you being out of motherfucking order. And I'll see you next week. I'm still gonna love you, but you got to get the fuck up out of here. I'm still your grandma, but you got to get the fuck up out of here, because who the fuck you feeling like? Who raised you to leave another relative for dead? Still love you, boo. I'm gonna show up for graduation if there's a graduation. You can still come to the house. The relationship is still available to you, but you got to get the fuck up out of here. Oh, yes, you do. You know, when you have all heart, but you don't know how to have no law, your leadership is going to look crooked. And you're going to end up with a lot of accidental victims underneath that way of being. So, I have a big heart. But in knowing what it looks like when you have all heart but no law, that's why I've had to make sure that I apply the law in the letter of the law too. Okay? Love and the law are collaborators. They're husband and wives. You can't have one without the other. They require both in order for there to be structure, the proper infrastructure, and the proper balance in any given social situation. But the chapter has ended. The matriarch has transcended. And I appreciate everything that my grandma has done for me, which is why I'm going to go and pay my respects. I'm glad that she's no longer in pain. And she did all that she knew how to do in the way that she knew how to do it. And this is what she wanted. She wanted a lone life. She was a family woman. She wanted a big family. And she did her big one. And hopefully everybody else in the family can take what they should take from that and make themselves better and I forgive, but you know, unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to be in relationship to people just because I love them. I used to tell my ex-boyfriends this: just because I love you, bitch, don't think that that in any way, shape, or form, girl, means that we're going to stay together. It's going to take a lot more than just the desire to be together. If you don't treat me right, bitch, I'm gonna show you how much I can love you from over there. If you can't treat me right, I'm gonna show you how much I can love you from a motherfucking far. I have literally given my all, and I don't regret it because it's who I am. But what I am going to make up to myself in this next chapter of my life is by being in relationship to people who have it all for me. I am not interested in anything in between any of that. Don't need it. Don't see it. It's just not useful. There's no benefit in that for me. We come to live once, and I want to live fully. I want to be in full relationship to people. I want to have great love stories to tell about people in my life and vice versa. I want to have just as many wonderful things to say about other people as they have to say about me. And I'm the one that has to put, you know, that has to choose that and allow that. So I'm done. No pretending, no acting. I'm going to treat motherfuckers exactly like the motherfuckers they are. And I'm going to remain who I actually am intact. And the people who are that will get that version of me. And at 40, you know, I'm willing to double down on it and to be unapologetically true to myself, because I don't want to do some of how this has been done this way anymore going forward. This is my motherfucking graduation. And when Christ said, girl, y'all will go forth and do greater for my grandmother, that applies to all her strengths. I'm taking with me. All her weaknesses, I'm learning from. I'm going to learn from. So, thumbs up, share. I got to go. I got to get dressed. I'll see y'all in a few. We got Tremel coming to the platform. We're going to get into some things. Hope you guys are well. And I share these things like with y'all because so many people always listen to this kind of stuff and listen kind of like to how I navigate my life and are inspired and, you know, feel heard, feel seen. So I'm glad that this type of content also has impact. And once again, you don't have to do things how I entirely do it, but if you find something that works for you, if there's something that resonates with you, then you just add that to the way that you show up and the way that you navigate. You know, you take the meat, you spit out the motherfucking bone, because that's what we're all doing. We're learning as we go, and we're adding and we're subtracting and adding and subtracting and multiplying and dividing and adding and subtracting. So, you know, it is what it is. I'll keep you guys updated. Of course, we'll have an aftermath conversation about what took place at the burial. I'll see you guys in a few. Thumbs up, share. If you enjoyed yourself, if you learned something, if you resonated, if you got community, you already know that you can donate to the platform at $Consciouztv on Cash App and or PayPal.me/Consciouztv. That's Conscious with the Z on the end. And all of my social media handles are in the description box below. Thank you guys for all the prayers, all the love, all of the light, all of the things. I received those things. And you guys be well. Peace.